Hi, my name's Xtine. I make vegetarian cooking videos here on YouTube, and I just made this spiced roasted cauliflower with feta and garlic. Woo! It was super easy to make. I was using the New York Times recipe, but I made some modifications based on the comments and my own preferences to make it even better. And I'll show you how I did it. This would be perfect for a healthy weeknight dinner or to serve as a side with a larger meal. I went to my all-time favorite grocery store, Wegmans, and purchased this gorgeous orange cauliflower. To be honest, I only bought it because of how giant it is. I found it to be very satisfying and it really spoke to me. Here's my hand for scale. The recipe says to slice the cauliflower lengthwise into 1/2 inch thick slices, including the core and leaves. I'm also gonna chop off the bottom of the stem because look at that. Look at the size of that stem. We don't need all that stem. Too much stem. Okay, I feel better about that. 1/2 inch thick slices. And I'm going to remove the excess bits of stem as I go. The recipe does also say some of the first slices will crumble apart. This is okay. They will be useful when you want those crispier bits. And I do. I do want those crispy bits. Go a little thicker for the middle. Oh yeah, that's a slice. I have run out of room on my cutting board. I'm just gonna slice. Oh. Okay, look at the stem massacre that took place. Brutal. We need to preheat the oven to 450 degrees. Next, we need to smash 6 cloves of garlic. The recipe calls for 6 cloves of garlic, but I'm just gonna use this whole head because I like my food to taste good. And also, one of the top comments on the New York Times recipe recommended using a whole head of garlic. And I recommend always reading the comments on the New York Times recipes. In order to smash the garlic, I'm just gonna take my knife, press down, peel away the skin, and then smash it again. Oh yeah! I would call that smashed. Maybe I should use a different knife. I've got a thicker, duller knife. Let's go with that. Ooh, smashing. Okay, smashing towards the middle of the knife is going better. I was smashing too close to the base. Just a million more cloves to go. Should I smash with something else? Okay, wait, check this out. Oh! Okay, you could do the knife thing. Or you could just get nuts. Oh yeah, look at how easy that peel came off. I've never smashed garlic with the mallet before, but am I gonna do it all the time now? Maybe. What a way to blow off some steam. Now I'm pulling out the big guns for this one. I'm going to use my Big Daddy roasting pan. I think the giant cauliflower calls for it. And the recipe says, place cauliflower, slices and crumbles, and garlic on a rimmed baking sheet and drizzle with olive oil. I've got my handy dandy olive oil spray bottle that I really love it. Such a simple little thing, but has it changed my life? Yes. And I'm going to give the roasting pan a quick spray with olive oil first and then put the cauliflower in. I'm just going to spread this out into a nice even layer for optimal roasting. And then instead of drizzling with olive oil, I'm just going to use my spray bottle to get a nice even layer. Cool. Oh, and we also need to add the garlic. I maybe should have done that at the same time as the cauliflower, but I don't think it will be that big of a deal. All right, and then just a little bit more olive oil, why not? Now it's time for spices. And if you've seen any of my videos, you may know that I'm not big on measuring out spices. I prefer to just eyeball it. And also, I do feel like the New York Times recipes tend to lean, how should I say this? Bland. We can do more as a culture. Turmeric smells so good. Next, some red pepper flakes. The recipe calls for a pinch. Are you kidding? Nice. And finally, salt and freshly ground black pepper. Okay, I'm sorry, but I do feel as though this is stunning. Now the recipe says to roast without disturbing. So don't bother her while she's roasting until the cauliflower has turned a deep golden brown and crisped up in spots 25 to 30 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. I went to the bathroom, I looked at my phone, and it is smelling divine in my kitchen. But looking ahead in the recipe, I noticed that we are supposed to finish with parsley. I don't have any parsley on hand. Don't much care for parsley, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to see what I have in my garden. I think there are some chives back there, and I know that they have flowered already. Look. But I Googled it, and you can still eat chives after they've flowered. And they also are just lovely for pollinators, bees, bugs. I think that's enough. We don't need to go nuts. Oh my god, and look at these. Pretty. It's been 25 minutes. Which means it's time to grab a spatula, flip over the larger cauliflower steaks, stir around the smaller pieces. I can't find my big spatula, so I'm using this tiny one, and I did burn myself a little bit. And then put it back in the oven to continue to roast until completely and evenly browned, another 8 to 10 minutes. When the cauliflower comes out of the oven, in addition to the chives that we gathered, we are going to sprinkle some feta on top. Some feta cheese is vegetarian, some feta cheese is not vegetarian. If that's important to you in order to maintain a vegetarian lifestyle, check the label. It usually will say if it's made with animal rennet or vegetable rennet or microbial rennet. Just do a little research if it matters to you. It is getting hot in here. And after 10 more minutes of roasting, here she is. Isn't she gorgeous? The recipe calls for 1 ounce of feta cheese. That means nothing to me, so I'm just gonna sprinkle on as much as I like. Next, I'm just going to scissor the chives we gathered onto our cauliflower. And finally, one of the top comments on the recipe said to finish with some fresh lemon juice, and that really ties it all together. A little trick is you can just kind of hold out your hand, squeeze the lemon juice over top to catch any seeds. And finally, I'm going to finish with a little drizzle of fancy olive oil. And voila! Doesn't this just look delicious? Let's try a bite. Oh! Okay. Bursting with flavor much? I'm for sure gonna make this again. 10 out of 10 for me, honestly. Okay, yeah. Ooh, I made it spicy. That's really good. With how easy it was too, for these kind of results, what more could you possibly want? Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if this is your kind of thing, and let's hang out on a more regular basis. See you soon. Bye.